Sterling Holmes with Fansided and Stacking the Box, joined now by three-time Pro Bowler Jared Goff. Jared, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. And by the way, your sponsorship is just phenomenal. The partnership you have with Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, and Jared Goff from the Detroit Lions as they give back to the Detroit Lions and their fans, celebrating the commitment of all those Lions fans as they present a grant to the local nonprofit Give Merits Fate program to help increase the rate of high school graduation in Detroit. Tell us more about this, Jared.
Man, you just nailed it right there. You took everything from me. But yeah, it's been awesome being able to partner with them, and obviously having the same name is kind of fun, but it's been much deeper than that. And being able to align with a partner that has the same values that I do, and being able to give back to the city here pretty soon. We have this event next week with Give Merit, and we'll have some fans there, and some surprises as well for some people. So it'll be fun. Exciting week in Detroit next week with the draft, and I'm happy to be part of it.
I know you gave your offensive line some nice watches from Jared as well. I got to give the big guys up front some love. I do want to talk about the offensive line of Detroit. They were outstanding last year, but obviously you went from the Rams then to Detroit. How big of a change is it when you have to deal with now, okay, whole new line up front, got to get used to their tendencies as well as them getting used to me. What is that change like for a quarterback?
Yeah, there's a lot of communication that happens, certainly with the center. And I think Frank and I worked a ton trying to get on that same page that first year, and still, we'll continue to work. But yeah, knowing strengths and weaknesses, knowing how I like things, knowing how they like things. And they've got to listen to me on every play in the huddle and every snap. So I want to make sure they're enjoying the process and the flow of everything. So certainly that communication to make sure we're all on the same page.
I will say last year started off very strong for you. You and the Lions beat the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, which, as you can tell over my shoulder right there, it does say Kansas City. I am in KC, so that hurt just a little bit there. But that was the announcement to the entire NFL, to all the fans. We're here. We're legit as you beat them on opening night. What was that emotion like for you going to Arrowhead and coming out with the victory?
Yeah, it was my first time playing there, and obviously, the atmosphere there is second to none, and being able to go in there against a really good team, defending champs at the time, and yeah, to be able to beat them on their home turf, it's not an easy task, and we did it. It was a fun game, and definitely a sloppy game in hindsight that we wish you could have played a little bit better in, but we got the win, and it was a fun one.
Yeah, what is it with you against Kansas City, by the way? Yeah, your other game against the Chiefs was that all-time classic game with the Rams, that Monday Night Football game. You're 2-0 against the
Yeah.
Chiefs. You just like playing them or something?
No, they're tough. They're tough. They're two-time defending champs. They're a tough team. They're a tough defense, and Coach Reed always has them ready to play. But yeah, I've had two W's against them, and yeah, it's been good.
I know you're the Masters last week. You also said you don't think Dan Campbell golfs very much. Just based on his temperament, I could understand that. How many clubs, not golf balls, how many golf clubs would he lose playing 18 holes at Augusta, just chucking them in the woods or something?
Yeah, his temper is fine. It's not a temper thing. I think he would just get bored. He would just be like, "All right, what are we doing out here? There's no strategy. There's no running. There's no hitting." I think he might get a bit bored. But again, like I said, I'm sure he does golf at times in the off season. I just don't know if that's one of his passions.
You got to get him, you and him, nice little one-on-one game of golf down there, huh?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be fun. I think I don't know if he again, I don't know how often he plays, but that would be fun.
I will say, with you being in the league a while now, draft is obviously coming up, and it is in Detroit. But if you're looking at traits that translates to the NFL from college versus traits that maybe show up outstanding in college but don't necessarily matter as much once you get to the pros, what would those traits be?
You talking about for quarterbacks?
Yeah, for quarterbacks.
Um, the traits that would cross over, I would say like maturity, the ability to communicate soundly with a variety of teammates. Um, Accuracy is always going to transfer over. Um, Things that may not transfer over, like arm strength, doesn't totally matter. Um, Obviously, the offenses are a little bit different, so those may not transfer over. That's probably it.
Mm. As far as the hardest thing for a rookie in general, whether it's quarterback or not, what are those transitions like from college to the NFL?
Yeah, it's never easy. It's hard. It's the next step for these guys, and that's why it's so impressive when these rookies are able to play at such a high level. We had two of them on offense this year do it. It's really impressive, and I think at the quarterback position, it's even harder, and that's why you give Stroud a ton of credit for the way he played. It's hard, man, and he played really well. But yeah, it was difficult for me. It was a long season. We went 4-12. I went 0-7, so that was no fun. Thankfully, I'm 8 years away from that now, so I don't have to think about it very much.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of comes to the fans too, because I think a lot of folks expect greatness right away. It takes time. Everyone wants the immediate satisfaction of, okay, we were bad the year before. We have a high draft pick. Well, we should be good right now. But people don't want to wait. I think that's the hard part for fans to realize. As a player, do you ever get frustrated when you see fans, even for example, just say a different quarterback? Let's say Bryce Young right now in Carolina, right? All these fans already wanting to label him, oh, well, he's a bust. And you're sitting here going, give the guy time, let him develop. As a player, do you ever get frustrated sometimes with just fans? I know social media isn't real and all that stuff. It's not real life, but it's hard not to see stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the patience thing has, especially with quarterbacks, has become an issue over the last however many years. And at one point, I was called a bust, and now I'm here 8 years later, still playing. So Bryce will be just fine. I think he's a great player. But yeah, it is sometimes a little bit lack of patience goes on all over the place.
Yeah. I know Amon-Ra St. Brown speaks multiple languages. Have you ever thought about learning German or something? Just you can really just confuse the defenses out there.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. I probably should. I haven't thought about that, but it would be nice to figure out, some route names in German. I could just yell them to them, and we wouldn't have to come up with all these fancy signals.
Yeah, I remember I was talking with him one time and I was like, "Hey, do you ever just trash talk in Germany?" And he goes, "Well, no. I want the defending player to know what I'm saying to him." So I'm like, I like
Right,
that confidence.
right, 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 right,
um,
right.
you've been with two extremely successful yet very different head coaches with Sean McVay and Dan Campbell, kind of two ends of the spectrum there. Can you talk a little bit about what makes both of those guys so great and some of the differences that they do possess?
Yeah, they're extremely different personalities, but I think they're both great leaders and do a good job getting their teams ready to play. Yeah, I mean, I had success with Sean and have had success with Dan, and appreciate both their approaches. And yeah, they're both two of the top coaches in the league.
Are you excited now? The Detroit Lions, it was up and coming. It was fun. Everyone was rooting for Detroit, right? Now you kind of have the target on your back. Now everyone's like, okay, they're here. They're legit. They're fun. Again, I'm here in Kansas City. I was remembering when everyone's like, oh, it's fun. It's the Chiefs. They haven't won in so long. And then they won. And I was like, bleep those guys. Are you excited to get to that next step of, all right, maybe we're not the lovable Lions anymore. We're the bad boy Pistons. It's bad boy Detroit.
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great to take on that mentality. But yeah, I think last year we maybe snuck up on some people, and I don't think that'll be the case anymore. And that's always fun to get everyone's best shot. And defending our division title will be the first thing. Those other three teams are dang good and will be coming for us. So yeah, it'll be a fun year, and I'm sure we'll be able to find some extra motivation wherever it may be.
Three-time Pro Bowler Jared Goff. Again, he's partnered with Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry, giving back to the local nonprofit Give Merits Fate program, increasing the rate of high school graduation in Detroit. Jared, really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.